we are back now. Let's quickly go over to the survey. We go through here. This is not the only way to go to the survey, by the way. You can also go to the survey center, and you should also be able to do this survey right here. Expires in 5 days and 18 hours. Okay, so I think I kind of went over everything when it comes to this game version. I've been mostly focusing on CC. I have done the Ember Monuments, some of the Agony stages for the Ember Monuments. But aside from that, I haven't really touched the side stories. So this one's going to probably focus heavily on, of course, the CC. But I have a lot of ideas for CC, by the way. There's probably going to be a little bit of the side story stuff that I'll probably ask about. Yeah, I'm an adult. Anyway, so overall satisfaction with Enfield. I know a lot of people are going to glaze the hell out of this update. It's in the right direction, but the biggest downfall I think they made, the biggest mistake they made, was trying to stall out the release of CC. It should have been all patch long right at the start. Don't know why I decided to do some weeks into the patch that ends with Camille. I believe it ends with Camille, unless I'm mistaken. I think it ends with Camille. I'll have to double look at that. Probably look at that. Right now, I could probably just search it up. July 23rd. No, that's suspend coins. Shop closes on July 23rd. Let me look at this. I don't care about that. Just let me look at it. That's not even... Gosh dang it. Not really helpful. When does it start? Ends July 16th, so we actually have about 12 more days left. But that's yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. It should have been. I wish it would be the start of the thing and then last where it ends. Okay. Anyway, I probably should have looked into more of Camille's. I think it's the same. But anyway, as always, I think I'm going to go with 4 stars. I'm going to go with 4 stars out of 5. Regarding the current version, which of the following aspects of the game experience did you currently enjoy? Well, I mean, I'd be surprised if people were able to do other stuff, not focusing on CC. Combat, character art, I would say, enemy design, yeah, to an extent, yeah. I mean, that would be kind of close to CC, so it's like, yeah, kind of. But I haven't played this, so I'm not gonna select it. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do a lot because I haven't experienced everything of the patch, of course. So I think that is fair. Regarding the current version, which of the following aspects of the game experience do you think could be further improved? This, again, I'm trying not to be too unfair because of, you know, the side stories, I haven't really touched them. I mean, yeah, you get rewards for doing them, but for me personally, it's like, it's not enough for me to go crazy for to look into it. At some point, since it's not permanent, I can do whatever I want to, which I think is a good thing. So I'm curious to see where they put them. I will get to it. I will get to those side stories. I do plan on doing that. It's just, I want to finish through Ruling first, and I've just been pushing that back. It's something that's just not interested still. But I will. Eventually, I will. Anyway. Lore, story, missions, explorer experience. When it comes to the story slash, not so much lore, but story aspects, I feel like there are still people that are not a fan of the story, or at least the presentation of how the story is done compared to Arknights. I guess it's the best way of saying it. Map and environments, performance and sustainability. I haven't really, aside from like what I was doing in the Umber Monument stage, for the most part, I have good performance. So, voice acting, sure, but it's not. Okay. I didn't remember this is further improved. So while people have been saying that, I'm not going to select it because I haven't experienced this version specifically. So I'm going to let other people talk about that. You know how I'm going to say it. You know. Yes. I think AIC is in a weird spot where it's like, they're making it more complex. I don't know if they, I want to say by accident or unknowingly unaware of what it forces you to do or focus on. I guess I don't know that's the best way to explain it, because that's, for example, the way they've been handling armor, I think has kind of just been dog shit. I think the fact that they're trying to continue, like, there was at one point during the ruling section where it seemed like they were trying to, with the next new ore, here's this new armor set that needs that ore, and they're just doing what other gacha games have done. I was not a big fan of that at all. And I felt like, in terms of complexity, I feel like Valley 4 did a good job. I wish that Wuling took a little bit slower, took a step back in terms of complexity. It feels like there's so much you have to do to set up to do stuff in Wuling. There's like a lot of sections where it's just like doing something specific just for one factory, just for a set of items. And I just feel like since I'm a gamer, it's not much of an issue, but I could definitely see it being too complex for casuals. That's not too much of an issue, but it's something that even I'm like, that's the reason why I haven't really went too hard recently with ASA 50. I think Valley 4 was enjoyable, and while it would be in the next step forward, I just feel like due to the pacing of the factory, with each update, with there being big importance or not, I feel like it's almost kinda starting to become complex. And I know I don't think that was what their main intention was, but I think it's starting to get to that point. Especially when you're like forced to choose what to go for. Like, I've heard people talk about how you can only do X item, and you have to forego the others until you're done, or you feel like you could switch over. And that just comes down to room. I think like my biggest issue so far with the ruling AC factory is just the amount of room you have available to you. Is kind of like the biggest annoyance. I know at the start people were going crazy for can't remember what the ore was called, but afterwards it's just the amount of stuff you have to do in terms, and just like you don't have a lot of room. So like, and I know I can definitely feel that trying to do it, but I haven't really touched AIC Factory for like a hot minute. I unlocked, of course, some of the new stuff, messed with the new stuff, and I just haven't touched it since. And it just feels like I just don't want to go back to it, because it's like I know it'll take me some time to do what I want with it. I guess the IC Factory, to an extent, is more or less kind of becoming a chore to just figure out, to make sure to do stuff the way I want it to, more so than just being fun the way Valley 4 was. And I think that is due to the complexity of it, and to take a lot of things into account. I haven't unlocked everything for the ruling ASC Factory yet, as I know there's some unlocked stuff later on that people are mixed about. So, yeah. That's why I personally just haven't really messed with it too much. I think you could make it enjoyable, less taxing, and could involve it with different things more often. I thought the first event with the AC Factory was a dud. I understand what they were going for, but I don't think it was a good idea for multiple reasons. Like, if you did not complete the story, you were out of luck, fuck you. You can only do so much, which was really stupid in my opinion. In fact, I didn't even know there was an upgrade to the items until I saw, after I got the first medal, I was like, oh, there's an upgrade? And I had to complete the story to do it? Obviously, I didn't complete the story until much later, so I got screwed out of that. And then there's the fact that only for that short amount of time, I wish it was redesigned to being like a continuous, like Annihilation in Arknights, where you have to do it every so often and it's continuous, but the items in said exchange changes as well as the shop per se, so that you can grab the item still regardless of where you are in the game, and just continuously update it like Annihilation and Arknights. And I think that would make the most sense. Actually, I'm going to put that down. That's a really good idea. So, sorry, what I want to think of. I want to say veteran, but later on, or later players further in the region. That's, I think, the best way of saying it. What would I say this? I don't know what would be the name for it, but I think that's a good idea. So, so what I mentioned here, that it probably be changed slightly, is with the first AIC Factory event, with that type of style, the event gameplay to be similar to Annihilation from OG Arknights, where it lasts for a couple of months or a couple of patches that you can trade for at any point of the game. Players further in the region have it easier due to having the new materials to trade. Have it consistently updated every couple of patches to new trades. Combat, not really. I mean, the CC, so enemy design as well. Version, content volume, and update candidates. Sort of. This mostly comes down to CC. I'm gonna put this also down. CC should be earlier. UI clarity is not bad. Rewards and benefits is back and forth. I just don't. I haven't played enough of the game, so I can't really say much of this. But it kind of just seems normal type of in terms of resources and rewards you get from it. Side resources. Anyway, character progression, not really. Other no. Actually, I want to say this. This is something that even with them trying to help out for prepping for CC, they're not gonna put it as a character progression, but I'll probably put it as an other that I'll probably re-explain. So CC0 prep farm event should include ways to get weapon essences easier. The thing about weapon essences is, sure, you can get so much gel, but it means nothing if you can get the essence for the weapon. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. I have a lot of characters that don't have their proper essence, that I still don't have the proper essence so far into CC. And yes, I have all this coolant, this gel coolant, I can easily upgrade the essences. It means jack shit. It just means jack shit. Even though it is still decent, it's still nice, I still would like to actually get the essence. So it's got prep event being better. So CC 0. I say CC 0. This is might be controversial for some people. I say CC 0. Some people, certain contributors, say CC 1. It's experimental. It's 0. It was like that in the code for past Arknights, and it wasn't labeled until the next CC. So until they actually labeled as CC1 or CC1, fuck you, high school. It's just a random ass title name there. But yeah, if they had that, then I'd probably put it as CC1. And then go from there if I want to be more specific, like CC1X. But because they don't have it labeled, and there's a lot of hints to it being, you know, obviously experimental, beta, C0 in the very top left that people don't see. Yeah, I'm gonna count it as CC0. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. Anyway, let's continue on. Next, we'd like to learn your views about the chartered head-hunting operators, limit time arsenal issue weapons, etc. available in the current version. We sincerely appreciate your time and presence. I'm gonna say this right now. Wales max wrist CC 0, by the way, if you don't know that yet. So weapons are, as I keep saying, really fucking important. It is now the most obvious it's ever been that weapons are very fucking important. Hence, the more you think about it, the more it makes sense why they're behind or locked behind summoning from the arsenal. But anyway, so this is going to be the gotcha characters. Okay. Feel free to give your opinion if you haven't tried this operator. If you don't have enough information, please select. I don't know. Anyway, Mifu. I was gonna go for her when she came out. She ended up being a lot better, especially over time, just due to her damage output. What would be the best way of saying it? I think I'll probably go for. I mean, I like the, obviously physical team. She works well with other physical operators. I don't really have much to say, really. I mean, she's really good. I do like Mifu a lot, and Camille. I haven't used him enough, and he might be better further. He's also kind of showing his rates, bringing down his bats to show how good he is. I put him in 5, but 4 for now. I think 4 or 5 for both of them could work. Oh, doesn't matter really. I don't want to go too crazy, so I think guess I'll go for that. Which the following best describes your willingness to acquire Mifu? Acquire higher potentials, but not after max potential. When acquire max potential. Usually just 0, because I don't have enough pulls to go for higher. For you, effectives have reduced your willingness to acquire higher potential. They don't usually pursue higher potentials, pretty much. Generally speaking, there really hasn't been, like, anything else that made me go crazy. Like, if they kept adding more to characters for going for more potentials, it would probably influence me, but I don't think it's enough. But of course, generally speaking, this also clears everything out, so it's just annoying. Because there's the other reasons why too, but at the same time, I would be influenced by other reasons to go for more potentials. So it's like, yes, but yes also. So at this point, I don't usually go for higher potentials. Archives of presentation, appearances, idle animations, facial expressions. We're selecting 4 persona and story development. I'm gonna go with I can't say. Really fucking good. I think both characters work well. And work well as playing them. So I think burden. I don't think it's much of a burden. So I guess in this case, I probably would say neutral or good. So I don't think there's much of a burden. This is the way of the wording of, I feel like instead of star value, it should be like yes, no, and go on from there. I guess satisfied because they're not much of a burden either or. I know it's just Mifu, but I'd probably go for 4 stars for both. And prove your satisfaction with Mifu's artistic presentation. I like. It's interesting that they have these like options. That's like, okay, I forgive. But honestly, I think that works for me too. Reduce dissatisfaction with artistic presentation. For the most part, I'm trying to think if there's any clipping issues. Because when you pay attention, you might be able to find some clipping issues. But anything too bad? Not really. Nothing I can think of at the top of my head. I don't think so. Nothing really screams to me. I'm gonna say satisfied. I would say it is able to understand. I think that works. Reduce your satisfaction. I would say satisfied. There hasn't really been anything that I don't like. Overall, what is your progress to improve your satisfaction with combat experience? I wouldn't necessarily say she's like very versatile. I mean, yeah, she's a DPS. There's other characters that work with her, but she won't work too. I mean, just if it was just DPS characters alone, I don't think she would work that well, per se. Someone would have to apply. But overall, I mean, she can work with other characters, so yeah, she could. She does, not as much as, let's say, Rossi, but she's not bad. Sort of, but not really. She does work pretty good as an uncontrolled operator. Aside from a certain someone! Yvonne! Who just stands there with their ultimate, wasting time and not doing anything with their ultimate? Anyway. Yeah. I just wish they made her as like a brawler type character instead of like a great sword, and just went with like a new weapon type. I guess I'll put that down. Okay, modern amount of thinking regard during God. Not really. It's not bad. I think Tang Tang's by far the best so far in the game. To an extent. It depends upon, like, the scenario, of course, but she's not bad. Yeah. There's a lot more, you can go more complex with her, but for the most part, she does have really easy skill loops to do. Especially if you have Pogradishnik with you. He works well with her. Like, extremely well with her. Most people, I don't know, I've really seen mention that fact, but... I would say satisfied so far with her. Much of mine describes your willingness to acquire Camille, obsessed with grounding operator at potential 0. For the most part, I don't usually, of course, I don't usually pursue higher potentials. Okay, artistic presentation, I think. Animations are pretty good. Voice acting. Honestly, I haven't really seen enough, so I'm gonna say I can't say. Same thing for that. Comic stance is pretty good, and I'll say yeah. The following aspects of my previous satisfaction with his art presentation. I like how they're mixing these around for like no reason. I don't know if I can say too much. I think that's good for now. I think that's the best way to go about it. User satisfaction, I'm satisfied so far. Can't say anything bad. Combat potential. Not so much. I mean, he synergies as well, but it's not with the operators I like, so. Yes, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Maybe? Probably not. Technically, it can work with, like, physical and different arts, so yeah. Yeah, I think that works for him. Nothing too bad to say, but maybe we would have a better thing to talk about. Okay, regarding the following 6-star weapons, what is your overall satisfaction? As normal. What's the following aspects of prediction of this? Visual design, combat strength, obviously, it's good. Not so much. Yeah. Not so much, but then again, I don't have his essence, weapon essence, so probably would be. I don't know much to say about the weapons, they're just good to begin with. Next, we hope to learn about your views on the new content of the current version. We sincerely appreciate your time and patience. As of now, I'll tell you about the over experience of the side mission Deep Vaulted Steel in the current version. Side mission Deep Vaulted Steel. No, I have not touched it. I can't say. The following describes the experience of the AIC gameplay. I would say that I have started it, but I haven't really done it because you're... You know what? Blocked behind the story! Wonder why the progress is slow! Yeah. This is the following best describes your view on the stock build yields from the outpost. Um. Probably for this middle option, if. One of the reasons you have a sort of experience in newest wielding IEC content. Oh, maybe an hour would be cool. Well, how do I put them into small enough words? I already said a lot as is, but I'll probably put it back into. What was his name? Earlier, best way to explain it. Oh. What? What did I say earlier? Bring that up. I don't want to say burdensome. Burdensome, but I want to say burden, but at the same time. That's the only word I'm thinking of. I don't think it's the exact word I want to go for, but I'll go with it. I don't want to use blueprints, but if I use blueprints, I would obviously ignore the issue of doing it manually. But at the same time, it's starting to feel a bit annoying, burdensome, burden. I don't know what's the best word to say. I think that might be the best way to go about it. I want to say it's starting to be too much effort, or lack of not needing to do it for like an E2 team. What's the best way of saying it? I guess I'll just say not simple. I want to say no, not simple anymore. I used blueprints, but I used my own. Well, I just go for what I need to go for, and I usually go for what I need. A lot of the time, it's just interesting, or you know, it takes too. It's not so much takes too much time, but it's just not as interesting to go for it for most of them. And I barely do it. I don't log in to do ruling stock bill stuff. I guess there is that too. You don't have to rush. The discounts are too small? Well, could that be a weird thing to put down? Anyway. It's time to get to learn more about your views on some of the event gameplay in the current version. Please be patient and collect the following notes. Okay. I have not done any of the story events. What best describes the current experience of the Contingency Contract Reignition Experimental Operation event? Well, first of all, I have participated in the event. Huh. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a whole hell of a lot to say when it comes to CEC ideas to do, especially at E2. The event, do you like? Community buzz? Not really. The award appeal? Not necessarily. Yes, but no. And one thing I will say, I don't think this event was hard enough. I'm gonna piss so many people off by saying that. Let me try you do it at E2. Me foreshadowing. So, I could put down stuff like difficulty design, but I'm gonna go against the grain and saying that Estella being necessary or good is not really a good thing when you have limited operators. In Arknights, it's like, okay, fair enough, you have a crap ton of operators, like, probably first CC at least 100 plus, and at this point it's almost like, I think, above 300. Might be incorrect on that, but you have such a huge roster and so many things you can take into consideration that the design of the difficulty of Arknights CC is in a good spot. Is generally not as bad as Enfield's, where you're severely limited. And to me, the fact that it's only Estella, no other operator that can deal with, unlike Estella, aside from specific risks they had to add, shows that there is some design to it, but you need more operators. You just need more operators, I think, for CC to be good. I don't think it's ever going to be the potential of Arknights CC without Arknights Endfield having the same amounts as Arknights OG. And you know how insane that is as an idea. I know. We have yet to get to that point, but that is why I'm not choosing summons. Just because, for me, even with E2, and I know how good Estella is, I didn't like Estella being that great. Murder was great, but there's other options than Murder that you can use, and it isn't just Myrtle. And I know it's a different way of thinking, but to me, it's like, sure, she's good. It's nice that you can rely on a force that everyone can pretty much easily get, unless you don't do the gacha. And I don't know if you can really get... I don't know if so it's guaranteed or not. Another way, shape, or form, unless you do the free summon, unless you do no gacha, then you probably don't have a Stella. You can still do it without a Stella, but you won't be getting as high, of course. And yeah, it's just, to me, I feel like because of how limited you are with character choice still, especially because it's not like Arknights where there's a lot of options, there really is not a lot of options here. To me, it's not as great design-wise. That's why they added in risks to allow you to get rid of solidification. You know. So yeah, again, there's so much that I could talk about for CC that I feel like it could be its own section for this video. Or its own video in its own. Not too much in terms of a reward, per se. What is the main goal to playing Contingency Contract Reignition Experimental Operation? And, to see how far E2 teams can get. Or how far I can get with E2 teams. To what extent were the above goals fulfilled in this contingency contract event? Achieving a... And there we go. I think that might be best. I'm gonna be brutally honest, E4 pretty much gotcha is just, there's no point. To me, I look at what people are doing for max risk, and I'm like, if everyone had the exact same team, everyone would have max risk. That is why I agree with this statement. To me, I look at high risk. This is one of the things that I was not a big fan of with this, is that going back to like the whole Estella thing, and then taking consideration of, can we move her if you use your skills properly? That isn't too bad when you're like nuking enemies' HP bars with ease or for time with certain characters. To me, it doesn't really seem that hard for me doing E2 and saying that. I feel like I'd have a better time being a whale than being E2. Not in terms of having fun, but not having to deal with difficulty. I like how they had this here because people are like freaking the fuck out. Okay. What is you blah, 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 blah. Let's decide how you are with the current Umbra Monuments event. I feel like there are some that weren't too crazy, but for the most part, I think a lot of them were pretty good, I would say. Because of it being Agni mode, can't. I like that one. I actually kind of like that one. I think neutral. They could have done a way better job with these guys. I like it, but at the same time, they could have done a way better job. Not so much. I mean, sure, it shows me how good I've been, but it's mostly other. I can't say much about that. Enemy. It's not so much I dislike the mechanic, I just wish that, yeah. I'll talk about it more, but Trial of Swordmancy includes a permanent available trial something limited time trial accurate event where you can get ruling stop bills and or barrels limited time event only. But I haven't tried it yet. I mean, character progression, story progression, there's like a lot of different progressions. I can't really say much for some of this because I don't really go above E2. The only time I haven't done, I have gone above E2 was Catcher, as I always say. So. I haven't tried it yet. That'd be a troll. I haven't really. I mean, I could say I did, but at the same time, I didn't really. I don't know, I feel like I don't think talents nodes are that important enough to warrant going for them to begin with. And I have not gone max trust for any of my operators, so it's like, to me, it's whatever. I don't really care. It can be removed. I know, and I want to be bothered. I don't hate this. I'm not a big fan of the whole block farming. Honestly, I haven't really tried environment or monitoring all that much. It's like, sure, but I don't really care. That must be the new, like, thing I haven't tried before that I realized was a... Okay. That's normal, kind of around the 75% range. If I do, you know. You know, I don't usually. So... Probably not likely at all. Okay, this is interesting that they're doubling down on this. Okay, it's not so much, like, it's not so much of a concern about what my friends think or if they would enjoy it or, you know, the whole gacha games thing, because some of my friends have played gacha games before, way long time ago, almost 10 years now, about 9 years ago. Or maybe 10 years ago, 10, 9, maybe more. Thinking about it now. 9 being the earliest. That's, I guess, the best way of phrasing it. And it's not like one of my friends is addicted to gacha, not gacha, but like gambling, to the point of adding gambling to a Minecraft server that he owns. This is not actual gambling, it's more of like a fake gambling with fake money inside the server. There's no real world money involved at all. It's just for fun. And so it's not like the whole gambling side of things is something that I wouldn't like or dislike. It's more of the fact of I don't really recommend games to my friends most of the time. And honestly, I actually have. It's kind of a twist I have. But most of them that I have before don't care. So. Okay! We'll start off with the whole friend thing. Because I might as well kind of just say what I said. What's the best word I want to say here? Friend suggestion, more context. Okay. So let's go over the things I've written down, and then it's gonna be a lot, you know what I mean, a lot of CC related stuff to talk about. Okay. Either title, screen, or exit the game. Okay, so AIC thing. Suggestion. There we go. I think that's the first thing I'm gonna say. AIC Factory Trade Game Mode Suggestion. Instead of a event style, make it similar to Annihilation from OG Arknights, where it lasts a couple of months or a couple of patches where you can trade like the event. That's a shop at any. I'm going to make this any point in the game. I have to make that a point. Change. Yeah, so layers that are further in the recent region will have a easier time getting all the rewards from the shop. With new materials to trade, this can be updated with new items in the shop and the materials to trade for being changed every couple of months / patches. There you go. I think that's what I wanted to mention. So we'll continue on. That was like 1/10 of the feedback suggestion tab. That's insane. That's probably like a 5 to 9% right there. Okay, so with Mifu weapon, kinda wished she was using gauntlets instead of a great sword. Okay! CZ0, or known as CC Experimental. Okay. CC0 should have started earlier in the 1.3 patch. The prep farm phase before CC0 came out should have given players a better chance to get weapon essences easier. Okay, now controversial and not to say with CC0. Because again, there is so much to say. I will forget some things. I will. 100%. Okay, so first, initial time limit of 10 minutes should not be a thing, but should always have a time limit risk that goes to 5 points. Like, time limits. 10 minutes. 2. What is it? Like 7 minutes and something? Like 200 seconds up? So like. Let's go 450 because we're special. Okay, you get the point. Okay, I'm gonna put these into their own lines. Speaking of risks for every future CC. Okay, forced to not use gold gear and /or forced E2. Forced Elite 2. Oh, I'm so devilish. This only helps me out. It fucks everyone else up. But yeah. There's more than this. That. For example, no weapon risk. Okay. Let's fix that. Oh, I'm so devilish. Okay. Look, that's a way too devilish. What else? More balanced risks. More balanced risks. More optional risks that change team formations. More than 2 optional risks. What else? Certain hazards with certain operator stats, like weapon type, element. What is it called? And I'm just gonna... Attributes. Certain amount of attributes. Okay, doing E2 or doing E2. I should say E2, yeah, and then Elite 2 should change the what was it? Scoring of max risk from red to a fiery blue. Okay. Also, kind of spoilers, I guess, but then again, I haven't actually gotten to Risk 35, but I could. Like I said, like, if I could just dodge better, this will be previous episodes, I don't know when. Actually, this probably will be earlier for a, this might be out earlier for the survey compared to all the other videos, especially this entire recording session spaced around. Anyway. Enough of me blabbering about that. What else? Oh. option to add towers. So, for example, maybe a risk that some reason doesn't allow you to attack, but you can place down towers to help. Like, if you're gonna go in routes of, like, mixing up this CC, that's something they could do, is just have so you just forced to use towers. Oh, right, there's so much more that I could, like, oh, yeah, right. More CC stages to face different sets of enemies and different sets of risks. Cycle missions should show up less frequently, but give more points for the shop. So instead of 500 points for every 2 to 3 days, could be moved to, let's say, 4 to 5 days for 700 to 1,000 points. That's another thing that I don't know if you will end up getting to see the video. This is something that I talked about that I would love to see change. Just cycle missions and how they're trying to do like every 2 to 3 days. But for me, I wish it was a bit longer, but you get more points. I might just... Well, it's already 3 days, so probably 4 to 5 days will probably be a good increase. 1 day more or 2 more days more, with more of an increase in points. And maybe... I'm going to also put into here per CC. Also, I just got logged out. Okay. Is there anything else I want to mention when it comes to CC at this point in time? This is just something for me that I would like to hear. Honestly, this is kind of like a little bit of a pet peeve because it's not as easy, and I might be able to get to risk 35. But if not, I won't actually properly, quote-unquote, hear the music. I can always just go onto YouTube and find it, but I won't be able to properly listen to the music changes because of E2. So I am missing out on the remix, the 3rd track at, or I guess it would be the 4th track, actually, at risk 35. So you have the main chat that starts with the first two waves, and then you have the second track, which is risk 19 and below, and then the third track, which is risk 20 and up to risk 34, and then you have the last one from risk 35 to max, which is the fourth music, which is kind of the remix of the third music. And a lot of people don't realize it's actually 20. That's when I first heard it, was at 20. So, pretty much when you can get the medal is when you get to the third track, which makes sense. Hmm. There we go. That's the pepper spinning. And this mostly goes around to the CC trim thing that people want. My thought process is it's not as necessary. I understand why people would like to have it happen. But I think it'd be more interesting to be able to have the history that you can view of the person who did what they did for previous CCs more than anything else. Okay, yeah. When it comes to CC, I'm trying to think of anything else. I feel like I kind of got a lot of things that I wanted to put down. Boy. So first of all, I mean, you already know about the whole CC starting early thing. So much. Holy shit. Time limits. The risk versions, not doing certain, being able to do certain stuff when it comes to characters like gear or E2. Something like that. I am just going to put a question mark on that one, so I don't know if they'll be able to do that one. No weapon risk, that increase the amount of waves or enemies, more about risk, more, yeah, just so much I have listed down at this point that I'm not going to repeat it all. It's just a lot. I'm trying to think here on what I want to say. So I think I kind of got a lot of things in there, as I already said. Just like Trying to figure out what I want to say. I just thought of this right now. Instead of a flat map, add a risk that adds variety of height to it. So, I mean, I think this is gonna happen personally, but I think it'd be kind of interesting to see. Okay. At this point, I really can't think of anything else. I had a lot of ideas. I think I went through most of them. And I'm hoping that I'm not forgetting anything else. And I got some of them that I really would like to see. Stuff with E2, stuff with getting people to E2, or be E2 equivalent of strength. And just so many other stuff. Adding stuff to the map, I think it'd be interesting to see if they actually go with a factory side of things of adding towers to help you out. Because I feel like they're not really incorporating the tower stuff and the factory stuff into other game modes as much. And I think they're now experimenting with it a little bit. Could be interesting to see. There's probably some other things that I probably wanted to mention that are very specific in the past survey that I'm thinking there might be some that I could explore more in here. But at this point, I feel like I would have written them down if that was the case. It was important enough to continue on and explain or talk about it in detail that I think is important to note as a suggestion or feedback. You know, I just thought of this. Okay, non-CC related stuff. Okay. A model viewer. A model viewer in game, possibly located in Dijon. Is it Dijon? Like that? It might be missing an I. Possibly located in Dijon. similar to how wait. Especially RE6. Especially Resident Evil 6. I think I do agree with that. It's been a long time since I played it, and I think, oh right, that model viewer was actually like pretty cool. Which, talking about that, I'm gonna say collabs. And talking about collabs, are we collab? Mod. Oh my god, why am I having a hard time? Modaka. My brain is being really stupid with words right now. Modaka Magica. Okay, yeah. That's all I can think of. Like, that's probably more I could go with, but sure. Those three. Just thinking about it, like, actually, like, almost similar recent Resident Evil gameplay in Arknights Endfield would be actually pretty cool. But, we'll see. I don't know if they would, but that'd be fucking cool. Clearly, they just care about Monster Hunter and Arknights, so we'll see. Doubt any of those would happen because there'd be way too many suggestions of other things that people do suggest for collabs, and it's like, I'm kind of like dust in the wind compared to what other people want. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of what else I want to mention or to talk about. Something is gonna come up into my brain to put down. Clear of the week. Showcase a clear in game from Just say X. Whatever. I don't know who else. Ekogen. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. I'm really thinking, I don't know why I'm suggesting this to them, because I don't really do social stuff anyway. But I really don't know what else I could put down at this point. I'm running out of ideas, and I'm just literally thinking, and I'm like, okay, here's a nice other idea, even if it doesn't really affect me at all. Like, at all. I'm trying to think. I'm trying. I could go over what I've talked about before, but it'd just be me repeating. It would literally just be maybe repeating what I've already said before in past surveys. I need to actually remember how to spell this correctly. This is like literally the last thing I could really think of. I mean, that's probably gonna be the end here. Okay. Honestly. I think that's it for now. Okay. There we go. And yep, that's it. Okay, that was a lot. But I think that is gonna be it for now. I don't really have much else to note or to say. I said that all I wanted to say. To me, there's like so much I could. There might be more I can think of for CC0 as we continue on here, especially if I do manage to get a higher risk clear. But for the most part, that's gonna be it for now. So thank you for watching this survey video. Be safe and be healthy. When someone's gonna shine on team, be safe. I said be safe and be healthy. And we'll see you all in the next video. Until then, peace.